Welcome to another episode of Og's blog. Today I'm going to talk about spasticity. Spasticity is a major symptom not only in MS, but also a lot of spinal cord injuries and CP. What spasticity is a extreme tightening of muscles, which severely reduces the range of motion of major muscles, and can also lead to spasms or repeated movement called clonus. Now, in my case, some is pretty obvious that my arm, for instance, my left arm here, because of spasticity, this is always in this position. I can't move it in any other position. In fact, if I try and move it away from this position, it will just spring right back there. And similarly, my neck, I have something called cervical dystonia, which is just a fancy name for, and translates literally as pain in the neck, which, because of shortening of my neck muscles, mean that my neck would be pulling over to the right. And that's what this attachment on the wheelchair is for, or attachment on the headrest, to prevent my head moving too far over. So this time we're going to demonstrate how the spasticity affects my range of motion. And so what we're going to do this time is Jen is going to straighten my leg by lifting up the heel, as before. You can raise it a fair amount, a little bit more. Okay. Now try pulling my leg towards you as if I were doing the splits with one leg. And don't worry about hurting me. I will scream when it hurts, but it is so tight that you won't be able to move it. So pull a little bit more, and that's all you can do. So I'm getting, what, maybe 10 degrees of motion there. And that's extreme spasticity in the leg. And again, you see that the leg has gone very, very tight there. And after a few moments, we'll start relaxing and we'll go back. There it is, it's starting to relax. So that's another example of spasticity. So the next thing I'm going to demonstrate is something called clonus. Clonus is an autonomous movement, a repeated movement, and that responds to usually velocity. So when the joint is moved quickly, you see clonus. So Jen's going to pick up my leg again and get it more or less horizontal, and then move my ankle very, very quickly in towards me as if I were standing on tiptoes or something. So if you, there we go. And that bouncing around, you can even do that one more time. That bouncing around is something called clonus, which is related to spasm. If you let go of my leg, it might even be there's not a spasm there, but sometimes there'll be a spasm when it just happens autonomously. The reason I want to talk about spasticity today is because I'm about to have some surgery in 2 weeks' time, which I hope will not cure it completely, but make a big improvement. Now, pretty much the only medication that's used for spasticity is a drug called baclofen. And when taken orally, the doses are typically tens of milligrams. The trouble is, with spasticity as severe as mine, the doses have to be pretty high, and the side effects can be fairly unpleasant, which I've already found to be the case. So the other way of doing it is to implant a pump inside the body, and then there's a small catheter which runs from the pump up into the spinal fluid in the spine. And doing it this way, you can have much more controlled doses of roughly 1,000 times smaller. And so that's what my surgery is going to be for what's called an intrathecal baclofen pump. And I hope after that some of the more severe spasticity I have will be a lot less.